I'm just thinking, dude, I don't want to be a dork. You know, don't mess this up, dude, in my mind. Okay, so this was maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where I was able to finagle my way into getting Phil Gaimon, who is an ex-pro, very well known, to come up and to shoot kind of like a travel show with me. This was like episode 1 of his travel series. And I was gonna show him around Yosemite and put him up. And so I'm sort of starstruck a little bit, and I don't wanna look stupid. I want everything to go right. Okay, so I'm really trying to stress on how I can make this trip the best possible trip for him ever. Very first day, he's there for 4 days. First day, I decide I'm gonna take him around the lake, and it was really cold, it was in January, so I had no plans on taking him up the mountain, but it's Phil Gaimon, and he likes to climb, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna take you to this little creek, and then we're gonna go downhill. So we get to the creek, and he's like, well, what can we just keep going up this road? And it's a 4,000 foot climb. It's a massive climb. You know, you're riding for about an hour and 20 minutes, usually depending on the pace. Okay, so I came way underprepared to go up the mountain to the snow. And so I just had a flannel on, like just a regular jacket, no gloves. But he was super prepared. But so I can't tell Phil Gaimon no. He was like, I want to keep climbing. And so I'm just like, okay. And so we're climbing and we're climbing and we're climbing, we're climbing into the fog. It's getting colder and colder and colder, you know, 30 degrees, 20 degrees. And as you're climbing, it's not so bad because you're generating heat. But I just know that I am, like, future me is not happy, right? And so we're going, we get all the way to the top, and we descend down to the little Jones store because that's what I want to show him. And there's snow everywhere. And now we've got to go down this climb, okay? And it's so cold. So Phil Gaimon pulls out like some Castelli lobster gloves, very prepared, no issues, but I have no gloves. And so I'm thinking I won't be able to do this. Not only one is the road partially snowed in, so you're gonna have to be very careful. So I won't be able to modulate my brakes whatsoever. And so then I realized that I put on 2 pairs of socks. Why I put on 2 pairs of socks, I don't know. I've never done that before. But I was like, dude, I have 2 pairs of socks on. So then I'm gonna take one of those pairs off and put them on my hands for gloves. And not only, like, it wasn't even like a black pair, it wasn't a white pair, it was the most flamboyant, wild, you know, and it said like, it had some kind of outrageous wolf on it. Like it said like pussy wolf or something that was like, super inappropriate. Anyway, so that I couldn't hide it, you know what I mean? And so then anyway, I'm sitting there in the snow at the top of this climb, pulling off my shoes, pulling my socks off with Phil Gaimon, this ex-pro, you know, super respected guy, just staring at me like, what is this guy doing? Put socks on my hands, and it worked, dude. I descended all the way down, and my hands didn't freeze. But what he must have been thinking, and the fact that it was like, dude, don't mess this up. And then I'm riding literally with socks on my hands. So then, okay, that's horrible. So then the next day, I'm like, I'm gonna take him to the Shadow of the Giants, which are giant sequoia trees. And I was like, dude, this is gonna be so cool. We're gonna go a little off-road, do a little gravel riding. And I'm pumping him up on it. And then we start going there. First of all, I miss the turn where I'm supposed to go. So we're riding, it's like muddy, and his beautiful bike is just getting slopped and messed up. And then I have to tell him, hey dude, we went the wrong way. Like we're gonna turn back around and go through all that again. And then finally we get to the Shadow of the Giants, a place that a year before this was so beautiful. Giant sequoias, wonderful little trail around it. It was burned down. The whole place was burned down, dude. There was just black toothpicks, giant black toothpicks. And so then I'm like, dude, you know what? And so as a guide, right, I am failing just left and right. And so I ended up taking him to a mud pit with burnt down trees. Not good, couldn't ride really in that area at all. And so then he was like, well, look, as long as we can get a cookie, you know, like for the video, we'll be good. In my in my mind, there's a bakery down the road in Oakhurst called Big Dog Coffee, and they have cookies. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know where I got that piece of information from, but I was like, hey dude, we'll go to Big Dog Coffee and get cookies. And so then Phil Gaimon, knowing that I'm a horrible guide, calls, hey Siri, call Big Dog Coffee. Hey, do you have cookies? Yes, we have cookies. Cool. So we go down to Oakhurst. We go to the place in which I think this is Big Dog Coffee, and it's not at all. There's a dog on the sign, but it is not Big Dog Coffee. And I'm like, what was I thinking? And so then we go in and it's like, there's no cookies whatsoever. It just doesn't exist. It's like a dog grooming place. And so then I'm like, oh, dude. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna take you to Raymer's, which is like a famous candy shop. For sure they'll have cookies. No, they don't. They don't have cookies. They have like these little fudge things that sort of look like a cookie. It's circle, but it's not a cookie. And so, you know, I'm sitting there with the Cookie Monster, Phil Gaimon. Cookies are his thing. And, you know, he doesn't really know me that well up until this point. But I've gotten him, promising him the trip of his life. And not only do I take him way up into the clouds, into the snow, put socks on my hands, take him to a burnt down forest through mud, and then I can't even get him a cookie.